Andrew Wilkie says he's the subject of a smear campaign just when he's ramping up efforts to limit poker machine gambling. The Tasmanian Independent MP called a news conference at short notice today over claims that he'd forced junior cadets to salute Hitler at the Duntroon Military College in 1983. Political correspondent Greg Jennett joins me now. And Greg, Andrew Wilkie admits that he's behaved badly in the past.
He does, Nicole. It looks like Andrew Wilkie was something of a naughty boy at Duntroon, but it's unclear whether he's as naughty as newspaper reports today suggest he was. Now, those reports quote a former cadet, Brendan Etches, who was in Andrew Wilkie's company at the Royal Military College in the early 80s, with claims that the older Andrew Wilkie led victimisation and general bastardisation activities against junior cadets. And he cites one incident in particular where cadets were allegedly forced to salute Hitler. Now, Andrew Wilkie, in that media conference this morning, says he doesn't recall that Hitler incident, but he does acknowledge, as he has before, that he was very much caught up in the infamous period of bastardisation that infected Duntroon around that time.
So I'm upfront about all that. 30 years ago, I was involved in inappropriate behaviour. I was disciplined for it at the time. I regret it happening and I'm apologetic for it. And if there's anyone in the country who to this day feels aggrieved in any way by anything I've ever said or done to them, then I apologise unreservedly.
So, Nicole, where this gets interesting and current is the question of why these whispers about Andrew Wilkie's past are resurfacing right now, just as he's entering a public battle with the gambling industry over his push to get the government to put limits on poker machine bets. Now, Mr Wilkie says he's not drawing any links with that campaign, but he does say a campaign of sorts is being waged against him, and he's declared that he won't be intimidated by it.
And Greg, the Prime Minister has actually backed Andrew Wilkie.
Well, Andrew Wilkie is a vital pillar of support beneath the minority Gillard government, and he's made gambling control a do-or-die issue for this government. So it's not surprising that the Prime Minister is generally calm and soothing on what she has to say about him, and today is no exception. Julia Gillard says these incidents happened a very long time ago and that on poker machines it's a problem. Problem gambling is a big issue even in her own electorate of Lawler, and that Andrew Wilkie is the person she knows in Andrew Wilkie is working alongside the government to tackle that problem.
And Greg, it looks like the unions are upping pressure on the government over the carbon tax.
The all-powerful Australian Workers' Union is rattling its sabre against the government. Its Secretary Paul Howes is saying that if a single job is lost because of the carbon tax, the union would withdraw its support, and the ACTU is making similar noises today. It sounds like an ominous threat given the lineup of AWU members in Julia Gillard's caucus, but then again it could all just be hollow grandstanding, because how you measure the loss of a single job and how you attribute that to the carbon tax, which would presumably already be introduced before you could ascertain whether it had killed a job, is unclear. You also have to remember that what Paul Howes and others are arguing for is, in essence, industry support and assistance, and that's exactly what the government is working on right now. So the Prime Minister has dealt as calmly with Paul Howes today as she has with Andrew Wilkie, reminding everyone that she stands for jobs too, and that's why the government's working with unions and industry to shape the carbon tax package.
Greg Jennett in Canberra, thank you.
Thanks, Nicole.